What's up, future millionaires? Mike the Investor, and even though the market is a little bit in a flux, does not mean we are not future millionaires. And this is why I said every single video. In fact, when we become a millionaire, this will happen at different times in our investing journeys. But today, I want to talk to you about a long overdue blue chip cryptocurrency project known as Cardano, and the native token of the network is ADA. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Cardano, this is going to be a perfect video for you. We're going to be covering the price chart briefly. We're also going to look at what is Cardano, what is ADA, also what are some use cases of the Cardano network, and then last but not least, we're going to dive into some key catalysts that can be strong for Cardano for 2022. Now, before we actually dive into all of this, I want to take a brief second to talk to you about unstoppable domains. Now, if you're looking to start a brand or business or anything along those lines, you definitely want to get you a blockchain domain, and these are some of the extensions that you can use. Now, the beautiful thing about domains on the blockchain, you only have to purchase them one time. There are no renewal fees. And with unstoppable domains, you can actually mint your blockchain domains completely free on the blockchain. Now, besides creating just websites on the blockchain with these domains, you can also use these for one-stop payment addresses. You can use them for logging in for different apps, and you can also use it for passwordless logins and other things as well. So if you'd like to check out Unstoppable Domains, there will be a link in the description below where you can get your own personal blockchain domain for your business, brand, or whatever you are building. So now that we got the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the meat and potatoes of this video, and we're going to dive into the price chart of ADA first, right after this. Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Investors. We are now on CoinGecko, and if we briefly look at the market cap, right around 1.7 trillion, and we are currently up about 3.1% at the time of this video. But let's go ahead and look at ADA, the native token of the Cardano network. It is currently ranked number 6. It has been in the top 10 for some time. It is no stranger to the cryptocurrency space, so even if you've been in the cryptocurrency space for even a month, you've probably heard of ADA. Now, you can see the current market cap is around 33.6 billion. If we look at the circulating supply, around 32 billion, and for the total supply and max supply, it's the exact same at 45 billion. So as we move down here briefly, if you look briefly to the far right, we can see the all-time high is a little over $3, which was around September of last year. Now, if we briefly just do a 1-year chart on ADA, actually, let's go to the max chart of ADA, and we can just see where this baby just started off at. If we go all the way back just to 2017, right? You can see this baby was at 2 cents, and we can see where ADA is actually sitting now today. And this is why patience is so important in cryptocurrency. Look how much this baby consolidated before it actually took off. There were a lot of millionaires made when this took off, and look how long some of them actually had to hold. Now, this is why it's very important, to understand what you hold and also build out quantity if you can do so. As we go ahead and dive into what is Cardano and what is ADA, I'm going to briefly share with you what Cardano is. I'm just going to briefly go to the website just to show you a brief overview for people who like to know the technical outlook of what it is. And then I'm going to briefly share with you on my terms what Cardano is. And then I'm going to give you a brief history. And then we will dive into the native currency of Cardano, which is ADA. Let's check it out. So according to Cardano, it is making the world work better for all. And so Cardano, of course, is a blockchain platform for chain makers, innovators, and visionaries with the tools and technologies required to create a possibility for the many as well as the few and bring about positive global change. This kind of just shows you their mission statement more than what Cardano is. Cardano is a proof-of-stake blockchain platform, the first to be founded on peer-reviewed research and developed through evidence-based methods. Now, peer-reviewed research, this is one reason why Cardano moves the needle a little bit slower than other projects. They really take their time on researching and figuring out what's the best move before they actually make it, which is not a bad thing, but a lot of people kind of get impatient because of how slow Cardano is known to move. And so in my terms, Cardano is known also for the first third generation cryptocurrency, where Bitcoin is known as the first, Ethereum is known as the second, and then we have Cardano, who calls themselves the third. And I'm gonna briefly break that down. We have Bitcoin, of course, which is the first, cryptocurrency of them all. We have Ethereum, which was the first programmable blockchain that is on layer 1, which is why it's trying to move to layer 2 for scaling purposes. And then we have Cardano, which at the time was the first layer 2 proof of stake programmable blockchain project, which is why they call themselves the first third cryptocurrency. And so let's kind of do a brief history check on kind of how Cardano even came about. Well, if you know, the main founder of Cardano project is 𝗨𝗏𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗢, and his company is Input Output Hong Kong, and the third major company or foundation behind Cardano is called 𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗪𝗏. So they have three major layers. They have the Cardano Foundation, Input Output Hong Kong, which is 𝗨𝗏𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗢's company, and then they have 𝗓𝗏𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗏. Now, how this all came about back in 2014, according to sources, 𝗨𝗏𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗢 was a co-founder of Ethereum with Vitalik Buterin. Now, according to sources, they had a disagreement where 𝗨𝗏𝗪𝗪𝗧𝗢 wanted Ethereum more of a commercial project, and Vitalik Buterin wanted it more of a non-profit project. And because of this disagreement, Vitalik Buterin, I guess, wanted him off of the project, and so he left in 2014, and in 2015 he started Cardano. And from that point, 2 years later, Cardano was public. It was a public cryptocurrency that investors could invest in, which now brings us to 2020, which is when Shelly Mainnet was actually launched, and ADA could actually be staked on the Cardano network. And then in 2021, smart contracts was released on Cardano towards the end of the year, and here we have it now in 2022. So let's briefly dive into what is ADA, which in simplest terms, it is the cryptocurrency that powers the entire Cardano network. But let's dive into a little bit of literature. Let's check it out. So we already know that ADA is the native token of the Cardano network, but not only that, this is where things get very interesting. Every ADA holder also holds a stake in the Cardano network. ADA stored in a wallet can be delegated to stake pool to earn rewards, to participate in successful running the network, or pledge to a stake pool to increase the pool likely of receiving rewards. In time, ADA will also be usable for a variety of applications and services on the Cardano platform, which now actually takes us to some of the use cases of the Cardano network. Now, Cardano has 6 major use cases so far: education, retail, agriculture, government, finance, and healthcare. Now, if we just see what the solutions are for each one of these use cases. For education, they have credential verification, which we can kind of probably understand just by the name, them verifying certain credentials with IDs when it comes to the education aspect to make sure people are who they say they are. As we move down to the retail aspect, product counterfeiting, which is very important, making sure the authenticity is the actual product, because there's a lot of knockoff products out there, and this helps keeps things, pure in a sense. As we move down to the agriculture aspect, this deals with the supply chain tracking, making sure you can track a source back to the actual source, that this came from this batch, this came from this source at this part of the world at this time. And this is where this kind of dabbles into, and this is something very similar to what VeChain is tackling with the supply chain. As we move down to the government aspect, digital ID, a lot of things eventually is going to be digital. We're going to have passports or IDs. All of that stuff will be completely digital as the future continues to come. And I've talked about digital IDs briefly when I've mentioned the DigiByte project. Now, as we talk about finance here, onboarding, KYC, and AML. And KYC is know your customer, and AML is anti-money laundering. And then we have the healthcare use case, which is counterfeit medicine, making sure medicine is the proper medicine that it is supposed to be. Once again, just like you got a lot of knockoff stuff in the retail, there's a lot of knockoff when it comes to the medicine industry as well, and this is what helps with that. But I want to move back up just to the finance aspect, because the KYC and the AML that Cardano has in their network is the main reason why financial institutions and governments are kind of tampering with, saying, hey, are we going to allow Cardano to be used as a certain type of currency? And I'm going to show you what I mean. As we go over to the ISO here, as I briefly talked about in 𝗨𝗥𝗬𝗣𝗧𝗢𝗢 videos, they've already told us the 5 cryptocurrencies that are compliant with financial institutions: XLM, Ripple, Algorand, IOTA, and XDC. Now they are also considering 3 more that they said are compliant, but they actually haven't came out public and said it yet. And we can see this includes HBAR, QNT, and ADA. And so this is the main reason why they are saying we are thinking about adding ADA to this list, because of this solution right here. The KYC and the AML is one of the biggest reasons that I personally believe why Cardano is on this list. All right, so now that we have a pretty good understanding of what is Cardano, what is the native currency that powers Cardano, which is ADA, and also what are some use cases of the Cardano network, let's go ahead and dive into some catalysts that's actually came out this year alone that I believe can help set up a strong year for ADA for this year. And those 3 things are ADA Lend, their first DEX, which is Sunday Swap, and then also the first metaverse project called 𝗏𝗡𝗡. So let's briefly take a look at these 3. So here we have it, ADA Lend, and we can see that ADA Lend is the protocol that will power the new wave of flexible financial markets by serving as a foundational layer for instant loan approval, automated collateral, trustless custody, and liquidity. And this is going to be big. As we move over to Sunday Swap, Sunday Swap is huge. Now, yes, there's a lot of congestion going on still because it just launched not too long ago, but this in a nutshell is what it looks like. Very similar to most of your other DEXs that we see out there. And so this is Sunday Swap. And then last but not least, here is 𝗏𝗡𝗡, which is built on Cardano, the first, metaverse big project, and they've also already sold out of their land as well. So this is pretty big. You can see land 1 sale, land 2 sale. They are already sold out. So you can see there is some pretty big demand, for this game as well. That is coming out on Cardano. And so based off of everything that Cardano has been able to do, if we think about just the measures that Cardano has been able to do, it's over a $33 billion market cap. It hit a high of, I believe, around 60 billion. And this was all done without a decentralized exchange. This is huge, right? And so just imagine as Cardano continues to develop and add more things onto their ecosystem. And one other thing I forgot to mention is Cardano also put out 11 ways that they plan to increase the overall Cardano network in 2022, and one of those things was by increasing the block size a little bit, which should help with speeds and congestion. And so most importantly, if you gain some value from this video, definitely smash the like button. Not only does it help out the channel, but it also lets me know you appreciate the content as well. But that is all I got for you. Remember to stay inspired, stay motivated, always invest in yourself, and I'm out.